Good morning everybody and welcome to Juma Game Reserve this morning. I didn't want to jump out too soon just in case they did decide to move away. And just having that light on the back of the Impala was so beautiful this morning. I just was driving past here and I thought, wow, that is stunning. And since there's no guests in the lodge, we're not going to be disturbed by driving on this road. But welcome on board this morning. It feels like I haven't been on drive for ages, so I'm looking forward to being out. My name's Tara, Mark's behind the camera and Sebastian is in final control. It is a beautiful cloudless day this morning, so I'm really hoping we're going to see some wonderful things this morning. Keep your fingers crossed. I think it's just us, and we do have the checklist, so hopefully we'll be able to see some things, some animals or birds to try and check off the list, even reptiles. We've been doing quite well with our reptiles. I'm not so sure if we're going to see any amphibians today, but you never know. You never know what is around the corner, and that is the beauty of what we do here. The live drives here at Juma, and with it being live you can ask questions, so please do send your questions to questions@juma.com. Let's climb aboard and just have a little wander around the Impala herd just to see if anyone might have given birth. But unfortunately I think my day is over and unfortunately no babies were recorded, so unfortunately I fail. But it is the 5th tomorrow, which is Mark's Day, and I think there's a few dates after that as well, so let's see if anybody has been able to guess the right day. She's still looking heavily pregnant. Now, for those of you who weren't on drive yesterday, we have been babysitting all day yesterday. Little Shavinzi was around camp. Did see one track of one of the cubs heading from Yuri's house across the way here towards camp again.
You know, we saw them last night.
No, I didn't know you saw them last night.
Oh.
When did you see
On
them?
the driveway in the car park, and then they walked towards the staff village along that the fence line.
Ah, okay.
Fence.
All of them?
All three of them, yeah.
What, on the way back? Okay. So all three of them went towards camp last night. So I was looking around here for any tracks of them. We're going to have a bit of a drive around as well, but I think we'll sort of head north. Unfortunately, the drainage line behind camp is very, very thick, and if they are still there, then unfortunately it's quite a difficult one. We have had some wonderful leopard sightings, so I'm not going to look for leopard, but we're not going to try and go into that drainage line. Let's see if they pop out somewhere further north. And I think elephant is definitely one of those animals that people would love to see, so definitely look out for signs of elephants this morning. A bit of aloe grooming going on between the ladies here. Just a posh word for basically saying the animals take turns in grooming each other. The herd is actually spread out over quite a large area. But yeah, little Shavinzi showed herself a couple of times yesterday actually. I was just sitting in FC and she came walking by. I just happened to look up at the right moment. I was actually thinking about it. If I hadn't have looked up at that moment, I probably would have missed her completely. And she came to stand right underneath the window and have a look at the shade cloth that we put up there. Then she went out the back, so I opened the window and she looked at me and I looked at her as to what she was doing. So I assumed she would say, yeah, nothing, just having a look. And I think she must have gone to sit just at the back of some bushes there, because later on, that was probably about halfway through the drive, then when Seb and Mark came back, I saw Seb, actually what I heard was something landing, and I heard a bird take off, and I thought, well, I wonder if she's still here. And sure enough, I looked out the window again, and there she was. And she was watching Seb walk down towards Mark's room. that she was sort of just watching with curiosity more than anything. There you go. Hello grooming, and then decide to have a little bit of a sparring session. And that just goes to show males can groom each other, females can groom each other. You may get males with females, young with old. It does strengthen bonds between the herd. You looking to stay?
Reading the sign.
Yeah. Which way do I need to go? Down towards the lodge, there you go. Head towards reception, they'll help you. You can see that beautiful black tuft of hair right at the back of the legs. That's actually showing up quite nicely this morning. Well, a few antelope to have that metatarsal gland, but there's still not really any concrete evidence to show exactly what it's for. I mean, a lot of people seem to agree that they give off a chemical when they run away from predators and they kick the back legs, and it's sort of chemical is given off that other impala can follow. But I don't think anyone's actually really proved it. Someone's being very vocal this morning. You notice the males are mixed in with the females a lot more than around March, April time. That's because they generally only hold territory during the certain part of the season, the breeding season. But you may get the odd male if he's strong enough. You may get the old male or odd male that holds onto a territory all year round. Especially depending on the area. If there's not too many predators, then you might find that it's suddenly an area where there is danger literally lurking around every corner. And you are more likely to find males not holding territory only during the rutting season. It's a beautiful light on them this morning. But it doesn't look like anybody's given birth as yet. Could be they are waiting for the full moon. Be quite interesting to see, actually. I must admit I didn't work that into my equation, but it does make sense. Most matings are supposed to happen around full moon, during March or April time, between the two new moons. So it is possible that we're going to start to see births around the new moon, the full moon this time. Oh, another vehicle. Who are you? Ah, Cheetah planes. Okay. Yeah, go.
Yep. Confirm unit. Pick up an income for the realized market.
Negative. Apparently last night they headed north towards the camp, so they might have carried on heading north or gone into the drainage line.
Okay, copy. Did you maybe drive? You want to go shortcut?
Negative. I've just started drive now.
Okay, copy. Yeah, I'll take a go shortcut then. Shoot up to the boundary and head east and see maybe if they cross there somewhere.
Yeah, copy that. As I say, one of the mum-pin-pans was around camp last night and yesterday, so it is possible that she's either still in the drainage line or gone north.
Okay, copy, thanks.
Oh, sorry, Mark. I thought you were zoomed out already. To go that way, but don't mind. Give me a funny look, lady. What are you doing, crazy human? Hi Janelle, good morning to you and welcome on board this morning. And apparently you did pick the 4th of November because it's your birthday. So happy birthday Janelle. I'm hoping we can find a baby Impala for you. But it doesn't look like any of those females have started dropping yet. But Janelle wants to know what the gestation period is for Impala. It's roughly around 6.5 to 7 months. Oh, the labour period. Oh, sure. I'm not so sure about the labour period. I would have thought it'd be fairly quick, but I've never witnessed... And it's very difficult to really know sometimes when an animal is in labour. But when they start sort of moving around, walking around quite a lot, you can kind of see they're in a bit of discomfort sometimes. But I do remember actually watching a lemur. I've only ever seen one animal give birth, and it was a lemur. It was actually in captivity, and it was we could actually see the contractions. And it was just sitting on a branch, and we could see the contractions. But we only just saw the end of it. We actually saw the baby being born, and I think we saw probably 2 or 3. But unfortunately, it's not something you see a lot of in the wild. I think probably because they also do seem to separate themselves off, and they'll go and separate themselves off from the herd. I mean, I've seen blesbok sit down when they're giving birth, but it was probably a good half an hour. I don't know if there was complications or not, but the jackal were certainly ready and waiting. Blesbok are an antelope that we don't get here. They're more of a plains antelope. As I say, the jackal have been known on that particular reserve, especially to actually, when the baby's just about breached, or just about crowning, I think it's called, isn't it? And you can actually just about see the head, and they'll actually go and sometimes pull the baby out before mother's even had chance to get up and turn around and chase them off. But obviously at that stage there's not really much she can do. She's got to just keep going with it. So yeah, I'm not sure. Don't know if it's ever been recorded. I'm sure it must have been. But it could also, I suppose it is a lot like humans as well. There'll be some that it's fairly quick, and then there'll be some that's, it takes a few hours. Standing by.
Are you gonna go to the start?
Negative at the moment. I'm just going to have a bit of a drive around and just see what's out there.
Okay, copy. I'm just gonna shoot quickly for him, please, kind of light. And then after that I'll go north, see if we can pick up any info.
Okay, copy. There go the Gowrie gang. See, still a bit of a size difference between Genesis and Evelyn. Yeah.
She's blocking him. Oh, mother.
I want to ride, Mum. My legs are tired. Remember, I used to do that to my dad a lot. I want to piggyback. My legs are tired. Up onto the termite mound. They do seem to be a little bit more relaxed, especially walking down this section. They're not seeming to do it at a run nowadays. And the trees or mounds that they're choosing, there's a bit more of a distance between them. But I think Gordy's probably doing quite a good job. And I was asked the other day, is Gordy, Gordy, the same as Gawdy as in Gawdy, and it is same animal. I think people just spell it differently. I think Graham's spelling is the latter, Gawdy. And I must admit, I always find this relationship fascinating. Baboons with Impala. Because in some areas, male baboons can take young Impala, and I don't think our troop seem to do that. I don't think we've ever seen that, but it's certainly something to look out for once the babies start dropping. But even, I don't think Gordy, or even Tankman actually, when he was alive, I don't think he even went after a baby Impala. And it does seem to be, depending on what they have to eat. Some may have enough to eat that they don't need to really look to supplement the diet with meat. But in some areas they might have to. Especially just on the verge, really, of going from winter into spring. Or just before the rains, so if the rains are late, you might find it a little bit harder to find food. Otherwise, you'll get the Impala sort of milling around underneath the trees where baboons are sitting, feeding. They also do it with vervet monkeys as well, picking up any fruits that they might discard, any leaves. You see, now the baboons have got the advantage to stick with the Impala because the Impala are slightly taller, so they're going to be seeing over the grass. They're going to be able to detect any predators up ahead. You may see the baboons standing on the back legs, just try and get a better look. And that's one reason why they will be using termite mounds, just giving that height advantage, or picking trees to start just sitting up in the top branches to have a look around. You can see they're getting very cautious as they're heading down towards the dip. And stopping and checking every so often, listening out for anything. There's Gordy. And that could be Mrs. Psycho at the end, it could be LB. Yeah, I think it's LB. Ryan, come in. Do you want to head up towards Bufflesuck Dam though? See how we do. We'll pop across to Chelapan. We'll head around Gowrie Dam, go north and then go east. That's what I'm hearing, the geese. Oh, look at the kids play. It's on top of the mound there. Geese aren't happy. That's what the Impala are looking at. It does sound down towards Chelapan. Maybe even twin dams. There we go, I think they're going to come this way. Ah, there we go.
They're about to fall out of the sky.
Yeah. Wouldn't it? I think that is two pairs. Yeah, two are going that way, two kind of that way, they're banking again. I think it's two pairs having a go at each other. Because they just look a little bit too big to really be goslings. I'm going to go back in again. Heading towards Gowrie Dam by the looks of it. I'm Marilyn in California. Good morning to you. Oh, let's have a quick look at the sausage tree. I don't know if we've looked for a little while actually, just while we're here. See if there's any new developments. Such a shame that beautiful flower has all died out now. All been pollinated. Such a vivid colour as well. It's almost like a deep red wine colour. seeing any fruits yet. And actually everything else has greened up around it so much after the rains that we've had. It's not even as... it doesn't even come across as vivid as it once did. But Marilyn wants to know, do the females, when they give birth, do they come straight out into the open again to graze, or do they hide away for a little while? And that first especially few hours, but the first maybe day or two, the females do need to get to know their youngster, and their youngster needs to get to know the mother. And that's for any animal. That initial period is extremely important for bonding, and especially out in the wild, you need to know who your mum is and stick to mum like glue. It's a natural instinct to follow that individual that you first see and you first get to know. And that is a survival instinct, because generally that would be your parent. So parent would look after you, protect you, feed you. So that initial period is very important. So we'll stay with the youngster for a little while at least. And depending on the area again, you might find them being hidden away for a day or two, or they may come out a little bit earlier than a day. It really just depends on the area, but they won't tend to hide them away like waterbuck, for example. Waterbuck tend to hide their young away for quite a long period compared to maybe other antelope, like a few weeks rather than days. Sure, look at how green it is. Even because I missed my drive 3 days ago because of all the rain, so I actually haven't. I suppose I was on camera the other day, but sure, it just feels like it's really greened up already. From who, sorry? Pat? Is that Pat? Okay. Good morning, Pat. Not sure which Pat, but good morning. Hope you're well this morning. Wanting to know, is there an alpha male with the Impala? Or is mating kind of a free-for-all? I know there will be males that are stronger than other males. You'll have the strongest males holding on to the best territories, which will attract the females, so they'll generally have good grazing or good food depending on what species you're talking about, but with the Impala it will be good grazing or browsing. They are a mixed feeder. Generally during that period of time they're starting to switch between the two. So you're coming into autumn, so the rains have fallen, so the nutrients are going to be changing places for the winter. The nutrients are going to be either locked away in roots, leaves are going to start dying, so you're going to have a slight shift in what they're eating. But certainly good food. You may even find that they hold somewhere near water, so it's going to be very attractive for the females to be there, to stay. But there is also, outside of the breeding season, there is a dominance hierarchy. So the males that you saw, you'll have, especially there was the one big male who you saw who had very large horns. He's probably going to be one of the higher ranking males, and if he walks up to a lower ranking male, he's going to move out of his way. There is that structure there. Oh, nice. Oh, don't fly. There's a couple there, but that was just so pretty with the water. I wonder if Cheetah Pan's actually got a little bit of water in there now. Yeah, we're not in the best spot to see them, but are we able to get the birds in the tree? And this is going to be bird number 1 for our ID this morning.
Right into the sun.
Yeah, we've got the silhouette though. So there you go, got a family of them. I'm hearing the crested barbet calling above them. There you go, that's bird ID number 1 for this morning. If anybody wants to send in what bird you think it is, questions@juma.com, put in the subject line the name of the bird and your name. I wonder if they'll call for us as well. Yeah, I'll see if I can move the vehicle actually and just point our nose down that way and might be able to see them a little bit better. Just such a pretty little silhouette there though. I can actually have a look. See if there's any water at Cheetah Pan. Not yet. All the water's soaked into the ground, but it has just made it a little bit muddy. I was hoping a book might actually say something about the labour for the Impala, but unfortunately it doesn't. Well, worth a try. Okay, gone. One of the big fruit eaters that we have, that large bill, conical shaped, very characteristic of the fruit eaters. Seeing actually while we're here, seeing if there's any movement on top of the jackalberry. But now the trees have actually filled out a little bit. He's no longer able to see from that spot that we're usually able to have a look from. See if we can see through here. Not seeing anything. You see over the top of the tree there?
No, because
The other one's there.
other one's in the way.
Morning stations in the north. Anybody mobile?
Good morning, Ryan, myself and Jarka.
How's it going?
Good, good. How are you?
Not too bad. There's a mongoose lamb in Yari. I'm not sure how many. I'm on my way there now. Looks like they could be crossing into your guys' side. I'll keep you updated. Should be close to the gate somewhere.
Okay, copy, thank you.
Any other updates outside?
Lutu so far. I think Jark's going down towards the Mbisikai. I'm not sure if it's active yet or not. Karula and Mampimpans were around camp yesterday and last night. I'm not sure if they've headed north or not. I think Jark's going to follow up. I'm also going to head around Gary Dam and Vuga Road, see if there's anything coming out that side.
That's okay. Alright, I'm going to go back onto the red channel. If I can get into this Gary lock and then I'll give you a shout if they cross. I'm also quite keen for the Nishikai. I'll give Jark a shout in a little bit.
Copy that, yeah. If there's anything that happens this side, I'll let you guys know on channel 3.
Alright, okay. But yeah, we're on the west from channel 3. Probably won't get it, but I'll, like I said, I'll give you a shout with these Gary shortly.
Okay, copy, thank you.
Alright. How's it going? Good, mate. Yeah, I was in, I'm nearby now. I'm going to make my way to the area as well. I've been doing a pretty bad this morning. There was running.
Nothing happening at the hyena den this morning. Oh, and if anybody has heard anything around by the dam or you saw anything, please let me know. Sorry?
Microphone is not on.
Oh, is the microphone not on? Oh, okay. Oh, I thought it had been fixed. So Neville needs to come in apparently. Somebody from outside. It's beyond our capability here of fixing it. So, Diane, good morning to you, Diane. Apparently there's a question mark with the baboons. I think there's a slight lag today. Or there's... Sometimes the emails seem to come in bunches. So it could be something to do with delayed emails, but we are getting to your questions. Oh, there is a lag, yeah. Not too much. Okay. So Diane would like to know about baboon and predators for the baboon. In particular the leopard. Is the leopard a big problem? And they can be. Especially, you know, leopards can climb trees extremely well. They're very agile in trees. So especially at night, that's where they go to roost. So they can be a threat at night, and especially to babies. When they're walking out and about like this, it is possible for a leopard to hunt them. And that's one of the reasons why they do get so edgy when they're walking through thick bush. And they will stop and look around a lot. Lions also could be predators. But certainly leopard, that's one of the reasons why they bark even more intently for leopard than they do for lion. They'll still bark, they'll still give the warning, but the leopard does pose more of a threat to them. And especially with them being a terrestrial monkey. As you saw during the day, they'll walk on the ground, they'll forage, they'll be maybe looking for berries in the bushes or looking for insects on the ground. They may climb trees to get the fruits and the leaves, but they will spend a lot of time on the ground moving from place to place, so they do become extremely vulnerable. And obviously being quite small in thick vegetation, it's going to be very difficult for them to look over, and eyesight is one of the main senses of the baboon. So they do rely quite heavily on their sight. So teaming up with other animals is definitely a bonus for these guys. The babies, also hawks or eagles. Some eagles may take a baby baboon if they're not protected properly. They're caught by surprise and it's too far from the adults. There's nothing to say that they wouldn't be taken by an eagle. Large snakes. That's why sometimes you do get very protective mothers and they won't let their babies go anywhere and they'll actually hold them to the tail. So baby can't wander. It's like those little training reins.
We're all going crazy now.
Yeah. I'm talking about a buffalo. Where are you, squirrel? There's only one spot. Leopards love to be in. There he is. Where are you looking? Trouble is, we right in this patch, and it is very, very thick here. I'm thinking that little 2-track's probably just a little bit too far, but worth a try. Could also mean that there is an eagle around. That 2-track, have I? It is further up here, isn't it? That little 2-track. I forget now. I always forget where it is. Back that way. Just wasn't paying attention where I was on the road. Could even be that Varro's eagle owl that's been hanging around. Seems to like this drainage line here. Oh yeah, we can do that. Dan! Thanks, Dan. With grey go-away birds. Thanks, Dan. It was the grey go-away bird for the bird ID. Sadly, it didn't actually do the call. Oh, woo! Oh, woo! Other name, grey lurry. I actually prefer grey lurry. such a beautiful little drainage line here. It's really amazing how it's overgrown already. It's beautiful. I'm going to try and get to roughly the spot where I think the squirrel was calling. And it's not going to be much longer before we're not going to be able to do this. Be too wet. I'm going to go away, birds are calling. Franklin were making a little bit of a noise. I think it's just a little bit further on actually. See how far we get, but I do remember this gets very, very thick here. It's quite steep this side. Dan was also asking about the Warthog at the waterhole at Gary Dam. Ooh. Just here. Somebody chattering away there and I don't recognise the call. Somebody not happy. Just want to go on the other side there and just get fairly close to that little bank there, but I can't even see the tree. But I thought I saw the squirrel in. And I did see the Warthog a few days ago, and it does look like possibly a cat got hold of him, maybe Leopard, maybe one of the big boys, or even maybe a lion. But he does seem to be healing, and if he's moving around and he was down at the dam, I think every day he seems to be getting stronger and stronger. So the wounds have healed. It didn't look like there was any infection there. That's good. think it is still a little bit further up. I was hoping we would be able to get through here. Let's give it a go. I wonder if it was this tree actually. Dead end. Somebody walking, or is that something? Tree swaying. Standing by. Copy that, thank you. Does it look like they're going to go towards Sydney's dam, or are they heading more east?
Shots I've lost, but it does look like they might be going more towards Sydney's dam. Looks like they're going to go further there.
Copy that, thank you.
Before I left, they're heading towards Sydney's dam. I'll just pull it in.
Okay. Ah.
I think that's the last one took them north, heading north. And I just asked everyone to give me a shout when they maybe go east into Weir. So I'm going to follow. I'm going to see if I can get anything from now, and then I'll give you a shout.
That'd be nice. Okay. There's a little bit of chat on the radio about some buffalo heading towards Sydney's dam, right up in the northwest. But they're also talking about some tracks for wild dog, which would be very nice. Apparently they've gone north. But it could be that they swing this way, you never know. I'll definitely keep my ear to the ground. I was hoping we were going to get lucky here, but unfortunately not really any way through that side. Just a little bit more. But one thing about animals when they do get injured, a lot of people want to try and jump in and help, and actually sometimes jumping in and helping can cause more harm to the animal than good, because it's actually the stress of being handled by humans and being given drugs to knock them out. All that could actually put quite a serious amount of stress on an animal. And animals are incredibly robust. You know, they are able to come back from an injury. A quite severe injury. There was a monkey that was attacked by a baboon at one stage, and its leg was sort of hanging off, and its arm, and it was, you know, all down its side, and it was just, you know, you really felt sorry for this poor creature, but he actually was able to pull through, and now it's running around as if nothing ever happened to it. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. So as long as he doesn't get a secondary infection, I'm sure he could make a full recovery. And he's a strong warthog. He's a big warthog. Warthog called George, and I think he did extremely well to get away in the first place. Just want to make sure they actually take the right path. I think I went in that side, didn't I? I should be able to get down here though. So that one's going to have to remain a mystery. What was the squirrel shouting at? Barbara, and welcome on board. Great to have you with us. And apparently Barbara actually visited 2010 and saw a beautiful leopard called Tandy and saw a lion called Mr. T, and she's wondering, oh, I need to go this side of the tree, don't I? Wondering if they are still around. And Mr. T is still around, as far as I understand. Mr. T actually headed west after the Majingilans killed his brother, Kinky Tail. And that was because Mr. T and Kinky Tail actually killed one of the Majingilans. It's almost through retaliation. But he fled to the west to go and rejoin the rest of the coalition. So we haven't seen him. So apparently some people have heard him and have seen him, I think, as close as Arethusa, but they haven't been this side in a very, very long time. And Tandy, which is Karula's daughter, we know her as Siseka, and she is a beautiful leopard by all accounts. That's what Siseka actually means, it's beautiful. Unfortunately, I still haven't met her. I'd love to meet Karula's daughter. But Siseka, or Tandy, she resides over in the east, so she's more towards Cheetah Plains area. Occasionally she might cross into her mother's boundaries. But she has a young cub of her own. You may have seen that young cub if you were here at the right time of year. Roughly about the same age as Karula's two little ones. And apparently she was seen mating with Mvula a few days ago. As I say, I doubt she's actually in full estrus. There could be something underlying there, maybe just trying to strengthen the bond between him and her to make sure that he doesn't go and try and kill the cub thinking it might be somebody else's. There could be something along those lines. Don't know if it's really documented, but apparently it has been seen in other areas. Sure, look, puddles! Been a while since we've had a muddy puddle. Been active. Hi Penny. Oh, sorry, everybody's ears. Good morning to you. Hope you're well, Penny. Welcome on board. Hope Bobby's well too. Apparently you saw the first Deirdre's cuckoo in your garden. Penny lives on the east coast of South Africa, so she always lets us know when there's rain coming our way as well. It's usually about a day. A day is different. It's usually pretty accurate. Penny's forecast. Great to hear you've seen the Deirdre's cuckoo. I've been hearing them. And here's another one actually. Is that coming over, Seb? Oh. It would go quiet. Did you hear it at least, Seb? Ah, there we go. No, that wasn't me. Cool. So if you can hear it, that's your second ID. But the Deirdre's I have heard. I haven't seen them though. They go Deirdre's. Deirdre's. Always fun. Hippos have been walking this way. Also heard a woodpecker somewhere in there as well. Trying to keep a keen lookout for any lion tracks. It's been a little while since we've seen those tawny cats. Hey, poet, I didn't even know. Wow. Got a miniature sea going on here. Look at that current. Wow. Surfing hippo. I can hear the Deirdre's now actually. Might be just a little bit too far for you guys. Yeah, it does, eh? I think we're going to get a few waves. Watch out for Seb on his surfboard later on. Look at that. Deirdre's. But Penny, to answer your question, no, I haven't heard a woodlands kingfisher. Ah. There's our bird ID. I'm going to see if we can see it. You don't really get a chance to see them. You hear them more than you see them. Careful when you're hiding. I know you're hiding. You're looking too far. Let me just pull forward a little bit, because I think it's in this little bush down here. Don't tease us. Okay, I think he's just behind this one.
And that knob.
Not a weeping boar bean there. Looks like it, yeah. I think it might be actually in the weeping boar bean. So you're very rare to see them sitting out on the top of a branch or somewhere that you can see it easily. That's what makes them so difficult to see. Oh well. Worth a try. What's up, Hippo? You on your own? Not too much movement. I do want to check just around the lodge and just see if there's anybody utilising that area now that there's no people there. But we will make our way towards the north, where a big herd of buffalo apparently are. I'm going to slowly make our way that side and then head off towards Buffalo's Dam, I think. Still no sign of elephant though. Thanks, Hippo. Later. More interested in us. Hi, Cynthia, Virginia Beach. Welcome on board this morning. And saying about Mark and Seb walking around in bare feet. Is there any parasites they need to be worried about? I do know there is the parasite that's carried by snails, especially this time of year. It could be a possibility of picking up. Just need to go up that way. Across. Oh no, I was going to go to the lodge, wasn't I? Sorry. That's the only one that springs to mind. As I say, we the other host, but the snail is the main host. I forget what it's called now though. I think snails are the host for a few parasites actually. Because bilharzia is another parasite that snails harbour. But that one you have to be in the water for. I must admit I'm an old-fashioned girl. I like to have my shoes on when I go out in the bush. feet are too soft for the likes of the thorns and the spines that you find here. We're going down here and then we can cover the whole of the front then. So I do walk around barefoot around camp. Say that is one thing that also goes through my mind about parasites. I'll have to do a bit of research on that one. See if there is anything else, unless anybody else does know. Sure, Diedrich's cuckoo is really going for it. Diedrichs. And Woodland's Kingfisher, for those of you not sure how it goes. Hello, little one. Blacksmith lapwing, maybe I'm getting close to a nest. There's the other one. Of course, what the other thing the squirrel could be shouting at, just suddenly thought, is another squirrel. So there's a squirrel going absolutely berserk outside my window. I was so excited, I thought there must be a leopard there. So I went outside and there's these two squirrels fighting each other. So it could also be that as well. Hearing another squirrel now.
The rooms.
So I think we are going to go along here. Ah, thanks Penny. Getting the red-chested cuckoo. Pygmy fro. So definitely want to keep a listen out for once the sound comes back around the camera. And also, let me just drive for a little bit further forward and just see if we see if they come to us. But I think, or maybe they've got chicks, because I think this might have been the pair that was on the nest underneath the camera. Maybe their chicks have already hatched, or the eggs have already hatched. But yes, woodland kingfisher as well. Listen out for a chip chirr, chip chirr, and that's as good as it's going to get. But there is another one that's calling at the moment, and that people are seeing and thinking it's the woodlands, and that's the brown-hooded kingfisher. And the woodland, the brown-hooded is the resident, woodland is the migrant, and that's the one that we're waiting to see. And they've got a lot of blue on them. They almost entirely electric blue. And as I say, they've got this really loud call. It's chip chirr, chip chirr. And as I say, keep a listen out for it. The brown-hooded kingfisher says, "Pity for you, pity for you." So if you hear one going, that is the brown-hooded. Just want to get a direction because I'm thinking the squirrel's actually behind us now, but I'm sure I've heard it from over here somewhere. Let's have a look. You never know, Krula might have decided to use Voyatella while the guests are away. Blacksmith lapwings. See, with the wind as well, it's quite difficult to get a good direction. Hi GB, and not alone in your question. I think you may have missed. That could be why we have a squirrel calling.
Could be eating something.
Yeah. Oh, just dropped something. Don't think I've... Oh no, have I got this one? Let me just check. This could be your bird ID, number 3. Hello Franklin. No, I don't have this one. It is a juvenile, so I suppose it is a little bit more difficult. We are quite far away from it. But that could be why the squirrel was calling. The second one. But hopefully you can see the wings actually extend beyond the length of the tail, so that's hopefully quite a big clue. The fact that he's got quite a short tail. Wow, Crested Barbet, you're really going for it. Still looking for a mate. Sure. Smells like seaside. You smell that? It smells very salty. I'm smelling somebody's urine. JB wants to know where the elephants are, and it's a question everybody's asking, and we are looking for signs of elephants. I haven't seen any as yet. So we're going to drive along the front of the rooms and then head north, see if there's any signs of them that side. Apparently there's a big herd of buffalo. I want to see if we can try and catch up with them, and then we'll head over towards Buffalo's Hook Dam. If only that wind would just move the branch out the way. Usually a black and white and a bit of red on the bird. There you go, you can see quite nicely those wingtips. And very little tail. Well, we might get a better view from around the corner here. Actually, speaking of elephant, look at the mud on the marula tree. This has got to be a very nice scratching post for the elephant. Look how far up the tree the mud goes. You can see that beautiful bark of the marula tree, very, very characteristic of the marula tree. Almost looks like, this is what we used to get told, it looks like somebody's used a golf ball to hit pockets out of the tree itself. And it looks like it's been pelted with golf balls. You can see how far up the tree that mud is. So that's going to be a regular scratching post for elephants coming through here. It's actually, there are areas that look very smooth. And just the pure fact how high it is. If it was half the size, then it could have been a rhino scratching post, which it could also be. But it's just where that particular kink, sort of about there, is about the same height as, you know, some of the elephants, and I think that would be quite a nice spot to scratch the body on. We are looking out for the elephants though. It has been a while since we've seen elephants. But I think a lot of the tracks have gone north. They've gone on their holidays. So what? We're going to have a couple of weeks off. But they timed it wrong. They should have timed it for when we're on leave. I'll have to write to them next time. So here we go, Bateleur. We're actually in the drainage line that animals do utilise. I think guests have actually seen anything from lion and leopard, elephants, buffalo, hippo, probably even smaller animals as well. Rhino. Actually, speaking of rhino, I just want to remind everybody about the fireside chat tonight. So the fireside chat is going to be... Sorry? Fireside chat is going to be at 7:30 tonight. We do have representatives of the two organisations that we're donating the money to that was raised. So you'll actually be able to hear from them what they do, why they do what they do. So that's going to be 7:30 tonight. Butterfly from Arkansas. Good morning to you. What does Tandy mean? Actually, I'm not sure. I think Tandy may also mean that. Do you know what Tandy means, Mark? Oh, is it love? Apparently it's love.
Like. Sometimes there's something to like. But yeah.
So to like or to love. Didn't know that. There you go, butterfly. Thanks for asking that. Yep. Yeah, that's fine. Thanks, Jack. Getting the correct answer. It was a Bateleur, juvenile Bateleur. And let me actually just show you, because that was quite a way away. I'll quickly show you juvenile, what a Bateleur looks like. Come. Well, it should be in this bit. There it is, the bottom of the page. And say that with the very short tail, very distinctive to see. So this is the juvenile, and these are the adults. Female has more white on her than the male does. So this would be the male, this would be the female. You can see that white bar on the wing. And in flight as well, also you can tell the difference between male and female. So if you can see, male has half white, half black, whereas the female has pretty much all white on the underwing. So there you go. For those of you who are not too sure what a Bateleur looks like. So the red cere, the skin close to the beak, and the red legs also very characteristic of the Bateleur. Things to look out for. Preying on small mammals, especially. That's one of the reasons why the squirrel will call, but also just any form of eagle the squirrel is going to be shouting about. Because of that, they are susceptible to eagles in general. And what's quite interesting is there was a study done, I think, down towards the Cape, and the Bateleur down there don't seem to hunt dwarf mongoose, but other eagles do, and they'll actually give an alarm call for those eagles, but not the Bateleur. When I heard this, I thought that's very interesting, because I think we had a bit of a debate as to whether Bateleurs will eat or hunt dwarf mongoose, and apparently it has been found in the feces before. It has been, or the remains have been found, but it could also be because they do eat a lot of carrion as well. Snakes is another species of animal that they will actually hunt, so snakes and other lizards. But carrion is also a big thing on their list. So it could well be that it was an already deceased dwarf mongoose, or they might have hunted it. And literally, as I was explaining this the other day, a little while ago now, with the dwarf mongoose out and about from the Termite mound, a Bateleur flew over, and those mongoose actually gave an alarm call. As I say, the shape when they fly is very distinctive. We can recognise the difference without binoculars. And other animals checking the skies, I'm sure, will also notice a difference. And that was how they were saying down in the Cape that the dwarf mongoose were calling for the other eagles, but not the Bateleur. And say the lack of the tail as well, very distinctive when they fly. So oh, nice. Sorry, another bird. We're doing a bit of a bird drive this morning. I am looking for mammals as well. Just on the dead tree there. And hopefully it's going to stay put before it flies. So we can actually get to see it. Turn around! There we go. Got the white belly there. Oh, beautiful. Oh, wow. Yeah, it just needs to turn into the sun a little bit. There's a couple of them.
Maybe the other one.
There we go. Yeah, there you go, you're getting the colour there now. Beautiful violet colour. Oh, nice. If anybody can ID that bird. Beautiful. I think that's the first time I've seen them here as well. Especially when, I love it when they turn into the sun and you've got that metallic colour. Oh, it's stunning, absolutely stunning. Offset with that yellow eye. Beautiful bird. So yes, I must admit, it would be nice to see a couple more colonies. It'd be nice to see if they also give an alarm call for the Bateleur, because then it would suggest that Bateleurs hunt dwarf mongoose in this area, if they're giving an alarm call. And that's something about the animals. If they hunted by something, if they've had experience of being hunted by something, they're more likely to give an alarm call when they see that animal. But if they haven't had that experience, then they're not as likely. It just depends on what they've been taught as well by the parents. But as I say, if they've had, say, I don't know, a family of jackal, for instance. Now, some jackal are known to hunt impala, fully grown impala. They may work together as a family to hunt impala, or they may... I've actually heard of single jackal trying to take down fully grown impala by themselves. The general way they'll do it is to work as a family, to work together. But if you've got areas where the jackal don't really hunt impala, then you may get impala in those areas giving a alarm call for jackal where they do hunt, and where they don't hunt them, you know, the jackal might just wander in amongst the impala herd. They won't even give an alarm call. Ooh, speaking of dwarf mongoose, there we go. For those of you who've never seen dwarf mongoose before, just on the termite mound. So all we need now is a Bateleur to see if they're going to react. Like most of the family are already out foraging already. Gonna make a dive for it. Excuse me. Unless that one's babysitting. That one could be babysitting. If they've got the first litter this year. Certainly one of my favourite pastimes, watching dwarf mongoose when they're playing and they've got young, and they're just so full of energy. This one does seem to be a little bit more on the lookout than the others. Could be the sentinel. Sometimes they do have a sentinel, a bit like the meerkats, keeping a lookout for what's going on. And also, we were just being asked about the baboons being on the leopards list of animals to eat. Leopards will also hunt dwarf mongoose, and we actually saw Shivambalana the other day hunting the dwarf mongoose. They were giving him the runaround, but his brothers, Induna and Mishu, have been quite successful when it comes to hunting dwarf mongoose. They've got the knack. And even their larger cousins, the white-tailed mongoose, can fall prey to a leopard. But even their own kind or family relatives, the slender mongoose will hunt sometimes the dwarf mongoose. They're slightly longer, slightly larger than dwarf mongoose. They have been known to hunt them. Okay, well, shall we leave it to it? Doing a good job there, little one. I just saw the rest of the family this side. Job, Nick. Are you still with those in Yati?
No, maybe they'll stay. They win.
Okay, copy, thanks. A negative. Yeah, I'm just on the cut line now, Buffalo cut line. We may not actually see the buffalo. Apparently they may have already crossed the dam wall. Somebody dropped a blanket.
Oh, I need one of those blankets.
Shall we hold it to ransom?
No, we need one for our legs when it gets cold.
You can't take it.
Possession's 9/10 of the law. Find us keepers and all that.
Yeah, but we could have it as a ransom, and then if they don't pay it, then we can keep it. And we've given them a chance to have it.
No one claims it in 5 minutes, it's ours. Whoa!
What?
I got hit in the face by a dung beetle.
Oh, really? That's what we need to see, a dung beetle. I was actually wanting to stop and show you the thorns on the Robusta earlier. Totally forgot to do that. Stations, if anyone's dropped a blanket, I've got it. Anybody dropped it on Buffalo cut line?
Okay, copy. What does the blanket look like?
It's got blue and brown on it.
The weirdest thing, I think it's pretty ordinary.
I'll have a wander down towards Sydney's dam anyway, see if there's any buffalo around still. Sounds like they might have just bypassed.
Okay, copy. I'll make a plan. If you maybe just keep it with you, maybe if I come across you, I'll take it.
Okay, copy. Sorry. Yes, it was. Wendy! Thanks, Wendy! Going back with the violet-backed starling, also known as a plum-coloured starling. I forget which one's actually the new name and which one's the old name. I think the plum-coloured is the new and violet-backed is the old, I think. But don't quote me on it. No, it's the other way around. Okay, so violet-backed is the new one, plum-coloured is the old one. Wow, that wind is incredible. Are you getting wind on the microphone? A little bit. willow with the new leaves. Hi Anne, in Edmonton, Alberta. Good morning to you, Anne. How many babies does a mongoose have? Depends on the species. The dwarf might have 3 or 4, possibly 5. The larger species don't tend to have as many as that. And the reason being that if they have a family like the dwarf mongoose or the banded mongoose or the meerkats, they have sort of more hands on deck to help rear the young, whereas the solitary species like the white-tailed mongoose and the slender mongoose, then they won't have any help. It will just be the mother to care for the young. So generally they'll have a smaller number. Sure, not liking this wind at all. Oh, I tell you what I did hear, ground hornbills the other day. I wonder if they out and about on this fire break. It's just got this beautiful blanket of green now. What's wrong? Apparently getting a bit of signal breakup there. Buffalo have gone. Hoping we might see remnants here. They've gone. I also wanted to pop down here just in case the wild dogs make a turn here. What is wrong, guys? What are you seeing? It's all spread out as well, not really looking in any particular direction. There's a few birds as well. Signal breakup, or rather not too long now looking. Oh, Buffelshoek Dam it is then. On an any hunt. Oh, good. Okay, cool. Yeah, there were long-tailed shrikes calling. So I was hoping maybe we'd see a snake or something like that, but with the lack of clouds, that area gets quite dodgy for signal. So I'd rather not spend too much time there and not see anything in a dodgy area. What we're going to try and do is do Gary cut line, and we'll cut through central because that's still fairly in fairly thick bush, and that could be where the animals are hiding at the moment. There's a single male Impala here. I remember I was telling you this morning that you might get the odd one or two males holding onto a territory, and I'm wondering if this man is one of those males. So this is quite a high... Oh, you're going to hide behind the bush now, hey? Quite a high predator population here. So he must be quite a good strong male to actually be able to survive on his own. Just remember, if you're on your own, you're going to have to keep a lookout for predators, and that's why you'll often find that single animals will spend more time looking for predators rather than feeding, because they obviously have to watch out for their own skin. Whereas if you're in a herd, you're going to have a lot more eyes and ears and noses to actually look out for danger, and you'll find that they can spend a lot more time feeding than having to look out for a predator. And that's one of the plus points about being in a herd. You do have to be a lot more vigilant if you're on your own. Oh, who is that with him? Oh, little steenbok with him. Oh, so he does have a little bit of company. They're probably using each other. Amitai starling. Apparently that's the new official name of a violet-backed starling. I've not heard of that.
What?
How do you say it again, Seb? Amitai... Amethyst. A-M-E-T-H. Oh, amethyst. Amethyst. Amethyst starling. Nice one, Sam. That's nearly as good as me.
That's a quite weird behavior because
Come back a little bit. So apparently it's got a new name. Although, was it birds? What's the group? The bird life, is it called?
BirdLife Africa.
Because you see the steenbok and the impala there. Come back a little bit more. So that's quite nice through there. If the birds stay put. Gonna. It's certainly quite. That's the first time I've actually seen steenbok with impala. Well, I suppose actually there's the one out on the open area, the quarantine open area. Seems to mix in with the impala, but you may find wildebeest and impala together, or Just trying to think what else I've seen with the Impala. Impala with zebra. It just goes to show if there's anybody else around. You get the pairing. And just like I was saying earlier, just when you're in a herd, there's more eyes and ears to detect predators. And it's the same if you're on your own. If there is another individual there, then why not use them? So we now got 2 animals looking out for predators rather than just one. So that actually means that both these animals can spend a little bit longer feeding than what they would have to when they're on their own, but they still can't afford to feed as much as those animals in a herd. There you go. Is he gone? Got a fright. Yes, Buffalo's Hook, forward hoe. But yes, bird life apparently wasn't coming up with yellow-billed kite the other day, so I'm a little bit dubious about bird life. I don't know, is it a magazine or is it a group or
What?
bird life? Because apparently they weren't coming up with the yellow-billed kite, even with the Latin name.
What about the yellow-billed kite?
Apparently they weren't coming up with yellow-billed kite. Someone was looking in the bird life for yellow-billed kite.
They
and
weren't
didn't come
coming up.
Yeah, it wasn't coming up. And neither was the Latin name either. So I don't know. Don't know if that was just missed off the list or whether it's changed its name or I don't know.
Black kite.
Yeah, it had black kites, but not yellow-billed.
I mean, there's some schools have thought that they aren't different species or different subspecies.
Ah, okay.
I mean, they're both
Maybe that's
bulbous
why.
migrants. One's bulbous migrants, and the other one I forget. I don't know if they've now lumped them in the same species. It's just
So maybe that's. I say I don't know bird life, so. But if they're at the forefront of what's going on with birds, which maybe it is, Mark's just saying that it could be that they're actually lumping the yellow-billed kite and black kite together rather than having them as 2 subspecies. So if they've changed it to amethyst starling, quite interesting. It's such a beautiful starling though. The female is actually completely different to the male. Whereas most of the other starlings, the male is pretty much the same as the female. See, the wattled starling is one of those exceptions, but generally, if you think about the birchals, the glossies, both males and females look identical. But with the plum-coloured or violet-back starling or amethyst starling, the female is brown with a streaked breast. She's beautiful in her own right and a beautiful yellow eye. Dam again. But who was the question from about the cheetah? Lindsay. Good morning to you, Lindsay. Welcome on board this morning. Wanting to know about the cheetah and if the areas around Juma are open enough for cheetah because you've never seen. And we do sometimes get them, but most of the areas here are a little bit too enclosed for the cheetahs. They prefer open habitats, open grasslands. The open area apparently has been utilised before for the cheetahs to hunt in. So it is possible, but there's a big plain down towards Cheetah Plains which they frequent, and there's some big plains up in the north, so they'll actually pass through here to get to those plains. But having said that, I've known cheetah individuals to actually hunt in habitat like this and be very successful. There was a female cheetah on my old reserve who thought she was a leopard. She hunted... Oh, hello, waterbuck. She hunted extremely successfully bushbuck and other antelope that were just in the thick of the bush, and you very rarely saw her out on the open plains, whereas the boys would be sort of typical cheetah and out on the open plains. And I just see an impala and thought it was a waterbuck. No, I didn't see a waterbuck. Thought I was going a little bit mad then. Hello, boys. Yes, we've got an impala with waterbuck. A bit of a standoff there between two males. Yeah, this one here is putting the boys in their place, posturing to them and moving out of his way. And of course this wind is going to be playing havoc with them. You're going to see the animals a little bit more on edge because they don't know where the scents are coming from, where the sounds are coming from, because the wind is very choppy and it's very, very strong. And that can help a predator when they're hunting. You'll see as the wind blows, as I'm seeing actually a couple of impala twitching a little bit, you know, sort of a little bit on edge. And again, you've got the waterbuck with the impala, probably for safety in numbers. I'm struggling to see, are we seeing the waterbuck fine, or do I need to move? Can we see the waterbuck fine, or do we need to move? Because I can't see on my screen.
That's not great.
Yeah, I'm just battling to see what you guys are seeing at the moment. Actually, if we move on a little bit further, those waterbuck are going to come out from behind the bush. Yeah, ladies. Not as larger herds, the waterbuck, as the impala. Generally you'll find a few more than just two. Could be that their family members are further off into the bush. Hi Linda, and good morning to you. Welcome on board. I don't know if you heard that call, but that's from the red-crested coron. I wonder if he's going to start doing his display. That's a sight to see. Oh, they're hiding again for us. Okay, well let's continue on. I don't want to play. Loving this lush green grass though, I'm sure. It'll be nice and nutritious for them. They're wanting to know what the termite mounds are made from. It's where you have termites are found in damp wood areas. And it's soil and saliva, and it's also, it depends on the species, but there are some that will actually utilise the feces as well. But they cement the tiny grains of sand together with the saliva, and that actually becomes rock solid. I mean, it's very difficult to actually break open a termite mound. Very, very difficult. And the whole reason for building them is for air conditioning. And it's absolutely impressive that this animal can build these structures that are taller than a person. And again, you can kind of see the differences between the species as well. So we've got the black mound termites that will probably not build too high, but you know, if they build underneath a rock, they're actually capable of lifting that rock. I mean, especially on my old reserve, we had a lot of black mound termites, and they were nicknamed Schwarzenegger ants because they were just so, these nests were just so strong, they could actually build these nests up and actually push up huge pieces of rock. It really was quite impressive. I'm gonna see on the other side, we might just break up here. Oh no, I wanted to go this way. See, I'm all over the place this morning. It's because I've been let out. I've been let out for a while. Go up towards Warthog Dam. We have seen cheetah up that way. Little time. Sometimes that's good enough done. My brain still needs to wake up this morning. Much I'd have thought. Oh, that is it. Can you get him up there? It's just flown in. There you go, there's your next ID for this morning. Beautiful. I'd just like you just to turn around so you can show us your colours. Thank you. A beautiful red bill. A little bit of blue on the body. Thank you so much. It's always amazing how the birds can keep the head in one position, so the body can move around like mad on the branch like it's doing now, but they'll keep the head in that one position. I wonder if he spied something. I've got 10 different species of this particular bird in South Africa, but we actually do have probably about, I can think now, at least half of the species here in the Sabi Sands, especially when the migrants return.
say we get 9 species.
Yeah, I was just trying to think if we get, because obviously we don't get the one species, because that one we need a certain habitat for. But I was just trying to think. So I can't say too much without giving the species away. There he goes. Are we still alright, sir? But what if we're breaking up again? Okay, cool. Okay. So yeah, as I was talking about the termites, we'll see if we can actually stop next to a termite mound. But the mound itself helps to keep the temperature of the nest at a nice constant temperature. So on the mound you'll get entrances where the channels will actually go quite far underground to where it's nice and cool, and maybe even where it's quite damp, and the air gets pulled in through those holes, circulated underneath the nest to these damper, cooler tunnels. So the air gets cooled and then gets circulated into the main nest where the termites are actually working. And the other holes, there'll be other holes where the warm air is allowed to escape. So it actually that whole cycle with the warm air escaping is dragging the other air through the tunnels, and that actually allows the nest to be quite a pleasant 30 degree, room temperature basically. But they can often be used by water monitors. They'll break open a nest and the water monitor may lay the eggs inside. The termites will come and patch up the nest, and those eggs are allowed to incubate. The termites don't destroy them, so the eggs will be incubated, and then once the baby water monitors hatch out, they actually have a ready-made meal. They're able to climb the way out of the termite mound. And if the monitor lizards actually don't do this, incubation can be much longer if they have to build their own nest. So it can take maybe a couple of months off of the incubation period for the monitors. Nile monitor rather than the rock monitor. I can really hear of the rock monitor doing it. But also these mounds can be used by other animals. I mean, the dwarf mongoose who we saw earlier was sitting on a termite mound, abandoned one. Because if the termites are in the mound, any damage to the nest, they'll come along and patch it up. So they actually make sure that the walls are impenetrable. Thanks, Amber. Correct answer. Did we get any woodlands coming back? Awesome. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a mixture, malachite and grey-hooded, or grey-headed I think it's called. But it was the brown-hooded kingfisher. Say not too much blue on it, so good to hear that no one tried to call it a woodland today, which is good. Because you can get mixed up with it, especially with the red on the bill. So without seeing woodlands here at the moment, and with all the blue on the woodlands, quite a nice one to distinguish. Malachite's got a lot more orange on it. Unfortunately, you couldn't really see the size, but malachites are quite small. There is pygmy here. Pygmy have slightly more purple on it than the malachite, slightly smaller than the malachite. Grey-hooded or grey-headed we do get, but they also are migrant. We have had the giant kingfishers here, the pied kingfishers here. Half-collared I haven't seen. I don't know if half-collared, I have to check the list actually.
We get a corolla. Those red. Moving into a block. Kind of a
Sorry, breaking up, or there's a lot of wind. Whereabouts is she moving? Is she going towards camp?
The Impala exit goes red. As you drive due south, there's a little open area, and then right there, sort of that open area towards the school.
Okay, copy. Is she static?
At the moment she's on move, but I'm going to try to see her.
Copy that, thank you. I'll try and make my way there at some stage if that's possible.
Alright, thanks. I'll keep you posted.
Copy that, thank you.
That's alright. Yeah, I'm very keen on that. So, when you join there, would you mind staying there for a bit till Andrew leaves? I'm quite keen on that as well.
I'm just making my way to Buffelshoek Dam at the moment, so I'm probably going to be a few minutes at least before I pull in. But I'll let you know what's happening.
Okay, cool.
There you go. There's first reptile for this morning. And this is actually another species who I was actually just about to mention, who utilises termite mounds and quite often will live alongside dwarf mongoose in the same termite mound. Very nice too. Actually, we've got a little bit of a... If I just roll forward slightly, we might just get past that. There we go. So it just sounds like someone's picked up Karula somewhere around Zoe's Road. So we're almost at Buffelshoek Dam, so I think I'm just going to have a look around Buffelshoek Dam, see if there's any sign of the elephants. And we'll see if we can, cause she's actually down towards Zoe's Road, so she's a little bit of away from here. And it sounds like she was going into the bush, but one of the other vehicles is going to try and stick with her. But I do know people are missing seeing the elephants, and we have had a wonderful leopard week. But as I say, I would like to catch up with her if we can. I'm sure this one's enjoying the sun after a few days of rain. You can see the size of the hole there, so you can tell that is an abandoned termite mound. The ones where dwarf mongoose are living, as I was saying, you'd normally find termites actually trying to close up those holes, and that's how you can tell if it's abandoned or not, with those big holes that are visible on the termite mound. When they open up holes, because that's another way that they can actually regulate the temperature, they'll close the holes or open them depending on the temperature outside. So if it's very cold outside, they'll close all those holes and will keep that warm. Okay, I've just lost visual of her at the moment. And so if they go into the bush, sometimes they do disappear, so that's why I'm thinking we'll carry on with what we were going to do, just in case she does disappear, instead of trying to race back that side and maybe miss potentially seeing something this side. Cool. I'm going to say like cement. And that's why you'll find animals that eat termites generally have huge claws to try and break into the termite mound. Think about the aardvark, the pangolin. They have these big, heavy claws, long claws that can actually rip into the termite mound. The obscure one is the aardwolf. Eats the termites, but he doesn't have very heavy front paws. The aardwolf actually looks more like, well, it is a hyena, part of the same family. It just looks like a miniature hyena. I love these guys. Stays put. I don't know, can you see the colour on the body there?
Hold up, something's a bit wrong.
Something's wrong.
Andrew.
I can hold him up that way, is that any better? He's gonna fly. Were you able to see him much or not really?
Not really.
Not really. Oh well. There's the only one there. Oops. A copper coloured dung beetle. Utilising the buffalo dung. Seems to be one of the favourite dungs, the buffalo dung. Each species of dung beetle will have their own particular species. Oh, there we go, there's a couple more there. Ah, there's one with a ball! Yay! It's on the back part of the dung. So not great for the light, but hopefully you might be able to see it. And both the male and female will take turns in rolling a dung ball away. So you actually find one sitting on the dung ball while the other one is actually rolling it. And you can also tell if they've had experience in it. I'm just going to pull back a little bit. So, depending on how round the ball is, you can see if they've had experience or not. You can see that one's not very round, so that one's probably not had as much experience as maybe the other one. The other one looks a little bit rounder. He's yet to find himself a mate. They've actually got grooves in the front legs, which will help to anchor them when they are pushing that ball away. Because they actually use the back legs to control it, and they push with the front legs. Yeah, you see, his is a little bit rounder. And obviously the rounder it is, the less energy they have to waste in rolling it. A little bit more pliable when it comes to moving it. Slightly easier. And I've even seen dung beetles trying to roll dung balls up termite mounds. It's the funniest thing, and they'll get halfway and then it'll roll back down again, and still they insist on trying to push it up the termite mound. You see, it won't let go. As soon as the ball starts rolling, they'll just hang on tight, and they've got incredible armour. And their eyes are actually underneath, so they're looking out for the dung, and quite often they can't see what's ahead of them. Sometimes they'll actually fly straight into walls or people, or again, he's trying to miss these completely. Crunch. No, he was far away, man. So that's why this time of year we're definitely going to have to try and avoid dung piles, so we don't go crunch crunch. Ooh! What's going on there? There was a lizard or something. There's a couple more. I thought there was a lizard actually going for the dung beetle. So let's try and... There's a couple of dung beetles on the road there. But he's got a nice round ball. Sure. Obviously that's quite a decent dung pile that they've found. Look how round that one is compared to the other two. You can see now, pushing with the front legs. And then gets on top of the ball and has a quick look around. That's what he was just doing there. Seeing where to go with it. But what makes them decide to bury it, I don't know. And sometimes they'll bury it on the side of the road, sometimes they'll go for a few hundred meters. I'd love to know how they decide. And it is the best thing. They bury it so quickly. And they'll have the dung ball, and they'll start digging underneath the dung ball, and you just see the dung ball sort of doing this on the top of the surface of the ground. And then all of a sudden you see a bit of soil pop out the side, and the dung ball actually drops a little bit, and then they'll dig underneath it again, and then the dung ball will drop a little bit more, and they actually just start digging underneath the dung ball, and it will just keep dropping and dropping and dropping. And that will take them maybe just a few minutes. Just a few minutes to bury the dung ball. Amazing. I'm not sure if he's relocated Karula as yet. So who was the first one back? Binky! Thanks, Binky. Rough-scaled plated lizard. That is what the lizard was. His body was probably about this long. Tail about the same length. So rough-scaled plated lizard. So I want to actually just check on the half-coloured, whether we get the half-coloured here. I've never seen it, but it could be here. And the striped kingfisher I've not seen here either. Again, it could be here. Mangrove we don't get here. Mangrove you'll find around the coast. Oops, sorry. Standing by?
Are you unlucky?
Negative, I'm still making my way to Warthog Dam. So it's going to be probably a good 10-15 minutes before I'm there.
But I confirm you're only heading towards Warthog Dam now.
No, I've been heading towards Warthog Dam, but I'm not there yet. I don't know if Andrew's been able to relocate or not.
Yeah, he's waiting. He's waiting for you.
Oh, I didn't realise he was waiting for me. No, I was still making my way there. I'm just close to it now. Okay, let me speak to him. Andrew, come in. Sorry, Andrew, I didn't realise you were waiting for me. Well, are you wanting to leave the lock?
Actually, why don't you get there? So, let's move now. Now we pretty much got no one else but more during drive along those roads.
Okay, copy. If you're wanting to leave the lock, if you can just leave a branch in the road, I'll go and see if we can have a look. But I'm just approaching Warthog Dam now. I just wanted to see if there was any love up this side.
I'm afraid if I leave, none of you can focus. The way it's moving, kind of hunting around. So I'll maybe wait.
Okay, copy. It's up to you. I don't mind if you want to leave or not. But yeah, I'm going to have a quick bugger around Warthog Dam, then I'll head back down to you if you're still there or not.
Andrew, come in. Yeah, that one. Yeah, Andrew, go channel 5.
I just want to see if there's any elephant activity this side. Let's say we are here now. To you, and she's quite surprised that they can fly. What's the distance they can cover? Oh, they can cover a fair distance. And you will get some dung beetles being active at night rather than the day. Let's say there is the plum-coloured dung beetle, I think it's called, that looks very similar to the copper, but there's slight difference in the habit, in that the copper is usually diurnal and plum nocturnal. But yeah, as I say, they're really the ones you got to watch out for at night as well, flying into you. A few rangers have had black eyes in the past, the dung beetles flying into them. And then you get the giant flattened dung beetles, which are about this sort of size. Huge, and they also fly. And they can be a little bit clumsy. Say brilliant animals. And so part of the problem is the fact that they look below them, because obviously they're going to be looking for dung, so if they're flying above they can actually look straight down to see where the dung is. was also wanting to come up this way to see if there's any cat tracks around here. Like any lion or cheetah. Rhino heading that way. Ugh, not rhino, hippo. Oh, look! Can you see them over there? Because I think if we go the other side it's going to be difficult to see them. But it's still 7 goslings. Oh, just tell me where you can see them nicely.
Well, yeah, I suppose. For now.
The Egyptian geese goslings. Wow, they're growing. Parents are doing extremely well. But their feet are going 20 to the dozen underneath the water. Amazing though that the weavers haven't started this side yet. Usually there's a cacophony of sound from the weavers in this torchwood. Pull forward and you can have a look at the hippo as well. If he wants to come out to play, that is. It doesn't look like there's been too much in the way of animals moving around here. There's the hippo. Gone again. I do wonder where the majority of hippos are. They do move around the dams. Excuse me. Sometimes we'll find 10 here at Buffelshoek Dam, and then sometimes we'll find 7 down at Gowrie Dam. Sometimes none at all. Of course, the chicks don't need to worry about, or the goslings don't need to worry about the hippo eating. Hippo only really eats grass. What they do have to worry about is monitor lizards, herons. Even at this size, a heron might take one. Leopards. It's another species on the leopard's diet. Maybe even jackal, if jackal are around. When they're on the bank rather than in the water. Crocodiles also. And apparently if you're at Pete's Pond, catfish. Oh, just saw nostrils from the hippo. Not too much else. Okay. Let's start making our way towards where Karula is. Oh, does it? Let's have a quick look. Jack's saying that they've got the checklist. They've got the rough scale plated lizard listed wrong. I see what you mean.
It's not on the list.
Oh, okay. So there is a sand lizard, rough-scaled sand lizard. But that's it, yeah. So the rough-scaled plated lizard you have to add to the list. Don't know what the Latin name is, so I'll have to find out. That reminds me, actually, I was actually just in the middle of looking up Jones's girdled lizard, which we think that's the one that we saw the other day. And I was just about to click on the button. I got sidetracked and doing something else and totally forgot about it. I think I got a phone call or something. Something urgent. But yeah, you just need to add it to the list. Rough-scaled plated lizards. It might lose you down here. Just wanted to come through here to see if there was any movement around here, but there isn't any tracks as such coming in here, but you never know. Hiding in the tree. Oh, nice. Let's stay there for us. No.
Interesting.
Yeah.
First one back. It is what I think it is.
Oh, car's dying. Just wanted to see what I could see, because if I was going to try and grab my binoculars, I'd have missed it completely. I saw a lot of mottled on the chest. I didn't see much else from that. Did you get it on camera at all?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, what did you think it was? Steppe buzzard.
You had the brown bird and then the one brown chick.
Yeah, so I literally just saw mottled on the chest. I didn't see anything else.
Quite big.
One of those, do I reach for my binoculars or just watch? You know, in that circumstance, the bird's going to disappear too quickly. See, now I've been seeing a paradise flycatcher in the garden, especially in the neighbour's garden, but I haven't been seeing any out and about on drive. One of the reasons why I want to try. There's little ravine roads, drainage line roads. Where's all the animals hiding? I haven't even seen any tracks for giraffe either. Andrew. been thinking about these silver cluster leaf. You can actually see the leaves just looking very silver now with the sun on the new leaves. Tiny little silver hairs on them. Actually, show you, we were able to zoom in just how they shine up in the sunlight. If I can move it slightly, you might just be able to see that. So very fine hairs, and it's quite velvety as well. But this is one of the trees that when they start to flower, oh, the smell, I don't like it at all. It smells like sweaty feet. But some people say it smells quite nice, but as I say, most people do agree with my sense of smell on that one. But the tannin level is extremely high, so you are actually able to, if you've got a toothache, you're able to eat the leaves. And it's been a while since I've had one of these. But you don't swallow the leaf, it's extremely bitter. But the tannins that it releases actually helps to numb the side of your jaw, and it makes your mouth go very, very dry. It's been a while since I've had one, but I don't have a toothache today. Silver cluster leaf. Quite a useful tree as well. You can make a very strong rope from it. It's also used for women's ailments. Wind could be it keeping the animals right in the thick of the bush. Andrew, are you still with her or have you left?
I left the visual, okay. Somebody just phone the staff. So no visual at the moment.
Okay, copy. I'm on my way that side. I'll be with you in a few minutes.
Okay.
So he's really got 9 minutes. Let's carry on and see if we can see Karula. Apparently he has lost visual. Not sure when he lost visual. Let's see if we can help him to relocate her. Days you just need an extra hour. Just want to go and check down in the south as well. Standing by?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, copy. Will I be able to see or move her from Zoe's Road?
No, negative. I'm going to have to try and... Okay, what's the open clearing? If you come south of the open clearing, kind of, if you look, you see a little drainage line, and go into that drainage line. Hopefully I get your audio from there. I'm going to try and get close to you.
Okay, copy. Just to confirm for me, it's the drainage line in between Zoe's and quarantine that you're talking about?
Yeah,
Copy. So you don't think going in from the western side of quarantine, which would be the eastern side of the drainage line, you don't think that would be a good option?
No, negative. We're at 15 meters east of Zoe's Road. We're right next to here, but it's all clump off location feature, which is the problem.
Okay, copy. It's not too far from Zoe's Road. Hello, Impala. Look at them all clumped underneath the shade there. Must be getting quite warm now. It sounds like they have relocated her, but she is in the thicket. Obviously, with it being windy and the sun starting to come out, she's probably seeking shelter and shade. Let's see. Steenbok. Be careful, there's leopard around there. Okay, so I think they're in here somewhere at this corner. I'm thinking this is the open area that they are talking about. could be this little clump here. He reckons he's not too far from the road, about 15 metres or something. They also said towards the drainage line. So I might have to go in here a little bit. Out of, so I think it might be in here. This could be the right place. Jog, okay. Definitely looks like someone went through here recently. Oh, there he is. Sorry, can you see her? Can you see her from here?
Not well. Through this gap.
Say where? Is it not worth me going around this way?
But it's just that he'll be the way then. I like the way back to the road.
So she's going north, she should be coming this way. Oh, there, I see her. Can you see her through there? No. Do you still have visual over there, Joe?
Yeah, she's just on my northern side. Yeah, she looks like she's going north again, but I'll try and stay with her.
Okay, copy.
That's going to take...
Yeah. Not sure. Oh, I switched my radio off. Okay, we are back. Awesome. I'm going to try and go out the way we came. So I saw her heading that way. Try and avoid what we can. more open here, so I saw her going that way. So maybe if we pull around this side, we might just get a view of her before we see her. Oh, she's on the termite mound. Awesome. Yeah. Ah, yes. There we go. Nice one, Karula. Okay. I'm just going to stay back, so I don't know if she's seeing something or... Where are you going to, lady? Oh, switched off.
She'll be back on the road shortly.
Yeah. I forgot. There we go. Okay, just remind me not to switch off. We'll see if we can just get a visual of her on the road before we say goodbye, because the inverter is beeping. But this is one of the reasons why I thought we'll just carry on around Buffelshoek, because it could have been that we had a sighting of elephant or something along those lines. And with this being, they said she was going into bush. There she is, thick bush. I'm not going to be able to switch off, folks, so unfortunately. But I'm hoping she's going to cross just in front here, and we should have some nice light on her if she does. Come this way. Yeah. I suppose I should, yeah. Let me just pull forward a little bit and then I'll switch off and we can just try and hopefully. Go to the termite mound, lady. She's definitely on the lookout. There she goes. Well, at least we managed to get to see her anyway. Let her continue on looking for her next meal. And that's the thing with leopards, they don't know where the next meal's coming from. So that'll be why she's already looking for her next meal. Even though they did have an impala a couple of days ago, it could take her another 2 or 3 or 4 days before she finds something and actually is able to catch something. But yes, I think we will leave for now. So thank you very much for joining me this morning. Thank you for all your questions and all your IDs. And Mark's going to be joining you this afternoon because I'm going to be hosting our guests when they arrive for the fireside chat, so I'll be busy with that. So Mark's going to be taking you out and about, and Seb's going to be behind the camera, and a mystery person back in front of control from the lodge, so we'll see who that is this afternoon. But thanks again everybody. 4 o'clock Central Africa time is when you're going to be heading out and seeing what you can go and find, and hopefully this wind is going to drop and you'll see some wonderful animals and sights this afternoon, so I'll keep my fingers crossed. So take care and we'll see you again. Bye for now.